Alright, I was very excited to show off the toolless design of my casing, and yet it all fell apart. Let's look at it. It fell apart. I was so frustrated. It all fell apart. Alright, so after hours of struggling with this guy, I have actually finally found a way to actually attach it to this guy like this. But if you notice, this guy is actually originally coming with no screw holes. So these are the parts that you are actually supposed to actually put it in, and this guy will actually lock it in place. But with this fan design, it doesn't work. It is because here, the side here that is supposed to be locked by the filter panel, actually it's not locking because it doesn't have enough space to catch it. So if you notice, this is actually the fan that is originally designed to go with this particular design. If you notice, here it's actually all flat, so it can actually lock here very easily. So but the fan that I bought, which is actually Coolermaster Pro 120, cannot fit this with this kind of mechanism, because if you notice here, right, if you can see here it's actually very loose. It doesn't actually catch the part at all. So what I did was actually I actually took a risk. So I actually screwed through the holes, because if you notice, this hole here, this hole here, and this hole here, and this hole here actually corresponds to this hole here, this hole here, this hole here also, and this hole here. So if you are actually able to screw it through, then you're actually able to screw through here. But this method, I will not recommend it to anyone who is who is actually afraid to actually void their warranty. And I will not be responsible for any one of you spoiling your filter and then cannot claim any warranty. I will not be responsible. You are responsible if you're going to try the method. So it's coming next on how do I do this. Okay, so for the hole drilling process to work, you need to actually have a screw that has a pointed head, like this. So if there's a pointed head, then it will actually help the thing. And another thing is that this screw will actually need to be close. I mean, the thread size will need to be close, if not slightly smaller than the thread that you have. Because if not, then you might actually have the hole that is actually too big, and this will not fit. So what you will need to do is to make sure that you find the correct hole and slowly drill it in. So what you actually need to do is just see the hole. So if you see, this is actually the hole. So you have to make sure that it corresponds to the hole here. So if it's actually corresponding. So what I will do is actually I will put it here, and then I will slowly just turn and screw it in. So this part, what you need to do is actually you need to hold here. That means like between, if you can see, let's see. Okay, if you can see, this is the point you actually hold between these two. So you can actually like hold like this, but make sure and be careful that you will actually not hurt yourself, because this is actually slightly dangerous in a way. So you just slowly screw the thing in. So now you see that it's already holding, so I have already started to screw it in. So for those of you who have drills, maybe it will be a better choice, but I haven't tried it, so do it at your own risk. I'm not responsible for anything that happens. So let me change my hand then. So what I do is I slowly drill this in while actually pushing this to make sure that things are okay. So just slowly push it. You will feel a lot of resistance for sure, because now technically you are destroying your case, and you also hear a little bit of sound here and there. So outside screw. So once I have screw in, then you see here. So here you can clearly see that the screw head is already over. So what I do next is that, of course, I'll unscrew this. So what you do is you actually go for your next phase of the thing. The next phase of the thing that you will need to do in order for you to be able to have the screw hole is to actually take this, which is slightly bigger. If it is actually too big, then it will not work. If it is actually how to say, if it is actually too, I mean, if the hole is too small or the screw is too big, it will not work because it will actually not be able to slowly screw in because the hole is too small. But if the hole that you have made is actually too big, then there's no point because this screw will actually go over. So this is a very delicate balance here. This is a really long process. So as you can see, it's slowly like breaking off. So if it's actually like not really breaking off, right, what you might want to try is that you see here, this part is actually like still blocking, right? If you can see here, this part is still blocking. What you might want to try is actually to use the screw that you have and then angle it in a way so that it will actually push through the other part that you're actually having problem. So you actually technically weaken the structure here. So this is why I will not be responsible if you have any problem. So if you can see here, now I'm actually slowly going to an angle to weaken that structure that's sort of blocking. Because this screw that I'm using is slightly smaller than the screw that I need it to go through. So I can systematically weaken the structure here so that it will be able to screw the screw hole through. So let's see then. Seems to be working a little bit. Let's just try to screw in more then. Okay. As you notice, I'm making a headway and you hear the cracking sound. So that means I'm in, you see, the whole thing is in now. So what you need to do is to screw the whole thing out. And then just press it. So this thing, right, you can actually just press it and it will actually break off beautifully. So just like take off the rest that is actually blocking so that it will actually not block your fan from actually being screwed nicely. So now you have actually created a new hole on top of this particular place that the hole is supposed to be. So due to the design of the case, I mean the design is a good design if you're actually using their fan, but I chose a different fan not knowing. So this is the workaround, the way that I'm going to do. So let me go for the other 4 holes also. Alright, so just now I have actually assembled this. So what I have changed is that I have actually changed this tool line to be actually at the upper part so that it's actually easier to reach my motherboard. So what I need to do here is that you actually put this into the slot. There's a bar here, so you just put it here, slot it in. This one you also slot it in here. Then once you have slotted in, actually if you want to actually have more space, if you actually have like no hard disk here, you can just slot this in here also if you want. But if you want it to be easier to not block the flow or anything, or just in case you have actually hard disk here, so you just like slot it in here and then put it here on top. And then what you need to do is that just make sure that it's correct and just like snap it in. See, snap it in easily. So now you actually have both of these. So let us move a little bit. Alright, so now we're at the last leg of the assembly. So let me just pull the cable through here. I need to twist the cable a little bit. Let me just pull the cable through here and then just push it in. Just push it in. Yeah, push it in. So that's it. And another cable, say through here, and then just push this in at this particular point. Let's see, just push this in. Yep. Alright, so we have assembled the fan pin here, and then we have assembled the front fan with the fan pin here also.